Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting Positive Wellbeing Association's invitation to actually talk to us. And it's an honor to have you on the Positive Wellbeing Association platform. Thank you so much again for.
Oh, Fizz, it's absolutely lovely you invited me. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Looking at the whole concept of laughter yoga, it seems a very simplistic view on yoga, but I think it has a very innovative and very sort of positive energy about it. How would you yourself, as an expert, summarize a review of laughter yoga for children as well as adults?
Well, the thing about laughter yoga is it's laughter exercises. And the yoga part is the deep breathing taken from yoga, and also the bringing together from the heart space with no judgment, mind, body, and spirit. So we can take the lead from children, because generally children, if they're being allowed to actually have what we'd say a kind of normal childhood, they are literally in the moment, they're playing, the laughter is just there all throughout the day, they're using their imagination. And we as adults sometimes forget how to play, and that part of ourselves, that joyful exuberance, our imagination, our creativity can sometimes really be suppressed. So the invitation with laughter yoga is to connect to the childlike part of ourselves again, and in that expression of no judgment and just allowing ourselves to connect to something more than busy thinking, the thoughts that get in the way. There's a really wonderful opportunity to really express ourselves and connect to what is really real and right and true.
Yeah, that's fantastic, ma'am. It's really nice to actually see that insight that children obviously display the whole attributes towards displaying moments of laughter yoga much more naturally, and whereby it's something that obviously spontaneously you can observe within children. Obviously, people out there who have children, they will see that in their growth and the way they behave. It's a very amazing time when you actually see a child smile, and they do have moments where they momentarily and spontaneously actually go into that positive zone. And obviously with adults, it's nice to know that actually it is there present, but obviously you need certain triggers to actually ignite that type of positive emotion. Thank you so much for
the kind of laughter that we are encouraging, when I facilitate a class, I often use the example of, isn't it the most beautiful thing when you see a baby laughing? It's just so pure, that little chuckle,
yes,
the innocence and the love that is there. And it's almost like we go into another zone when we look into a baby's eyes. So it's almost that kind of connecting to something so pure and innocent that is still inside of us, and finding a way, despite all the challenges in life, to actually connect to that part of ourselves again. So the way that I facilitate is actually much more about releasing everything that's getting in the way of that natural laughter. So that could be tears, anger, frustration. And then once you've released that through catharsis, you can actually connect to a deeper peace and those wonderful, deeper feelings of feeling blessed and gratitude and just deeper clarity.
That sounds amazing. That as human beings, we have that ability, obviously, especially people who are experts within the field, to facilitate that feeling and allow adults to actually overcome the barriers to accomplishing a certain sort of positive emotion. How can positive psychology practitioners practice laughter yoga for optimal functioning with obviously younger children and adults? Obviously, you've mentioned quite important and very sort of imperative points that obviously trigger the whole concept of laughter. But how, looking at it on a positive psychology practitioner's viewpoint, how can they sort of ignite and trigger that type of optimal level of functioning?
I always say that the laughter is really a gentle smile on the face, a little bit of willingness and breath. So we're choosing, if you say gratitude, a great attitude. So just give it a shot now, just taking a nice deep breath with a gentle smile on your face. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. And then just let out a little winning chuckle with the same ha 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 right to the very end of your breath. So you're going to take in a nice deep breath with 3 after 3. We're going to hold it, and then we're going to let out a winning chuckle to the very end of the breath. So we're choosing gratitude, great attitude. We're breathing with a smile on our face. So should we do that together?
Yeah, sure, I'm all for that.
Lovely. So I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Breath in. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Gentle smile, little willingness, and just let out the sound of ha 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 ha.
I'm doing this for the first time. So I think mine is coming out quite reluctantly. But yes, no, it does give that. I think it triggers sort of certain facial expressions that you have.
It does. Yes, because we've got mirror neurons, and of course, when we smile at someone, generally, if that person is in a reasonable state of mind, their natural response is to smile back. Now, they've actually shown that even if you smile at someone and they don't respond, they've actually filmed this on camera, that 10 to 15 seconds after the smile occurred, even though the person didn't respond in the moment, something lights up in their brain. Something, an endorphin, something is triggered by the warmth of that person's smile, even though they weren't able to return it. So these mirror neurons, you know, this empathy that we have as human beings, that wonderful connection, that truly when we, you know, are in a reasonable, clear state of mind that we can have with other human beings, that really is the kind of place where, when you talk about kind of positive psychology, well, the positive psychology is in human connection and heart opening and finding a way to look at things differently. So when we laugh, when we release stress, it could be through laughter, it might be needed tears first. It actually can help us. We clear our mind in some way. We can rise above the problem and see it from potentially a higher perspective. We choose again, we look at it differently. So we can see everything as a blessing. You know, there's always, as we know, a lesson in everything. Sometimes we can't see the blessing, but we can know that there is something we're learning here. So everything is either forgiveness opportunity or an opportunity for a deeper wound inside of us to heal. So the way that I see positive psychology working hand in hand with, say, the practice of laughter yoga is really that, is really how can we look at this again? How can we choose again? Can we laugh about it? We may need to cry first. And that kind of a feeling of we can get through this. And if we can find a way to talk about it and kind of laugh about it and actually be real and true about our feelings, clear the air, then something else can come in, solutions and a more kind of another way of seeing.
Okay, that's amazing, ma'am. Thank you so much for actually giving us an insight into that in-depth sort of knowledge of the whole sort of processes involved in displaying the simple positive emotion of laughter, knowing that actually just by smiling at someone, you can have the mirror effect. So, you know, something within your brain actually triggers you to mirror that behavior. You know, certain mirror neurons are triggered within your brain to actually display type of positive behavior. Also, I feel that you've immensely sort of talked about barriers to achieving the positive motion of laughter and how you would overcome them. Putting all of that in context, please could you elaborate on your key points of the laughter yoga in context of positive psychology? I know you've touched upon those topics, and obviously they're really sort of imperative. But what do you mainly sort of find that is very imperative from your sort of teaching and guiding and facilitating experiences of teaching laughter yoga within your clientele?
Yeah, for me, the concept of second wave positive psychology, where literally everything is accepted. So when positive psychology first came into place, because it was needed, because there was such a, particularly in the UK, a negativity bias, it was very much needed about the affirmations and about seeing things in a more positive way. Second wave positive psychology came in more like 10, 15 years ago, and it was literally to allow all emotions, not to see it as good or bad, just to allow it and to accept it. And in the process of accepting it, yes, you will feel discomfort, pain, you may need to cry, you may need to rage, but in the acceptance of it, something can really shift in a much deeper, if you say a quantum kind of way. So it's about allowing it all and allowing the judgment to drop, because it's when we're in our busy thinking minds and we're judging ourselves, oh, I should be thinking this way, but I can't, then we actually make the situation even more twisted, if you like, because we're kind of beating ourselves up because for whatever reason we're not able to see the situation yet in a more positive light. So the way that I approach, all my classes and myself as well, for things that I'm working out within my own psyche, my own inner wounds, my own triggers, which is a constant ongoing process. I found that the laughter yoga really helped me at a time when I was extremely low. My mum had passed over from cancer and I had been caring for her. And although I was already a practitioner of many wonderful mind and body healing modalities, I really wasn't in a position to give. I was so depleted, and of course I was grieving, and I needed to find something to help me shift. And after about 6-7 months of being in a very low place, the laughter concept came into my mind. It was like almost like downloaded. You need to laugh again. And at that point, I didn't feel like smiling or even meeting up with friends. I just didn't want for them to see me like that. And so I Googled laughter and I went along to a play shop. And for me, everything is, we get led to the things that we need at particular times in our life. For me, it really supported me. And very, very quickly, through the breath, through the play, through this very loving environment that is created because people drop the mask and they actually allow themselves to feel more like connected to their childlike place again, that place of just kind of moving and allowing eye contact with no judgment. I literally felt myself come back to life and I thought, this is for me. And I very quickly did the training. There's a 2-day leader training that I facilitate. I went on and did the 5-day training to be the teacher. And for the last 7 years or so, through running groups for the community and also facilitating the 2-day leader training, I supported my own well-being because I'm constantly, through sharing it, we say we teach what we need to learn.
Yes, indeed.
So through teaching it, it's also supported me in a deeper embedment of my own ability, to accept myself for who I am, accept all the emotions. I'm constantly reminding everybody else I have to do it, and I do it for myself. And can I laugh about the situation? Or maybe I need to cry first. So also to drop out of my busy thinking mind. And I've really, particularly the last 2-3 years, this whole thing about non-judgment. Who are you when you're not judging yourself? What space opens up when there isn't judgment? And that's just an incredibly beautiful opening. So I like to explore that with people. So in answer to your question about positive psychology, to me, this is positive psychology. And it's kind of deep inner development work.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and how it was a inner sort of change within yourself that triggered the whole sort of embracement of laughter yoga, and how your journey has been since then. And it's obviously, like you say, that with anything in life, if there's a reason or a meaningful reason for starting something, then obviously you tend to be more committed to it and you want to explore it. And if you think it works upon yourself, then you want to share that sort of positive values and positive methods of increasing your positive well-being. So thank you so much for sharing your personal journey. Where is the future of laughter yoga leading us towards a positive well-being for all? So obviously having that experience under your belt, and obviously it's starting off from something that was personal to now teaching it and facilitating it to other people. How do you see the future of laughter yoga developing, and how does it help towards a positive well-being for all?
Sure. Well, for me, again, it does come back to we take responsibility for our own feelings and our own way of being in the world. So with laughter yoga, there's also philosophy, and the philosophy is be yourself, don't pretend. The purpose of life is to contribute. Do your best, forget the rest. Forgiveness, appreciation, and gratitude. When you change, the world changes. So I always go to the inner spirit of laughter. And in the inner spirit of laughter, any change that I make within myself, that can have a ripple effect on the world. So anyone that connects to their own innate wisdom, the body-mind connection and the deeper wisdom that's there, then they're more, able to support their own well-being, whatever that is for them. So they're kind of clearer, happier, maybe not so depleted, able to maybe look at things from a higher perspective or to choose again. So from that, there's an enormous ripple effect. So we say you only need one person with that deeper clarity, deeper wisdom, the effect that they might have on their friend, their neighbour, their children, their spouse, then the ripple effect of that goes on. So one of the concepts that Dr. Dankatari was a medical doctor, actually. He started laughter yoga in 1995 with just 5 people in a Mumbai park. He'd been reading the research on how laughter is a medicine, and he was almost like he was inspired with his wife was a yoga teacher. They kind of the idea of the laughter exercises and the breathing taken from yoga kind of was birthed from that. It's over 20 years ago, and he had this concept that world peace might be possible through laughter. And I kind of feel that if we all take responsibility for our own sense of peace of mind, however we do that to come back to peace, then, as I say, the ripple effect of that's the key.
Thank you so much for that final sort of absolutely momentum point that you've made, that actually if we all took autonomy over our happiness and sort of our own sort of self-regulated positive emotions, that could have an amazing ripple effect for the environment that we live in, for the world that we live in. And obviously we can thrive and strive for positive well-being for all, and actually try to achieve this target that Martin Seligman has set for worldwide well-being by the year 2051. Thank you so much, ma'am, for actually taking us through the journey of what laughter yoga is and how it's positively practiced and how it's helped yourself and others, and how you've facilitated that whole domain and whole sort of knowledge of laughter yoga within your life, and taught it to so many people over those immense sort of period of your time. And thank you so much for sharing your very important views to us on the actual Positive Wellbeing Association platform.
Oh, well, thank you, Fizza. Thank you for inviting me, and seeing that, the laughter, it's that important innate function that we all have access to, even in our darkest times. If we can cry first and then find a way to laugh, that we can come back to balance and a deeper peace of mind again.
Thank you so much, much appreciated. And again, thank you so much on behalf of Positive Wellbeing Association. Thank you.
All the best. Bye. Bye.